Despite legislative attempts to curb drinking, Kenya is still facing its greatest threat from alcohol abuse. Calamities associated with excessive intoxication, dementia, seizures, liver disease, and early death have done little to deter users.
When you catch me like a rat on the highway, I've been driving for over 20 years, then you come and you talk very big nonsense to me. It's actually does not make eye up. Stop wasting your time, stop wasting your good time, because that is where you go wrong.
In the trail of the alcoholic effect, we meet a one Mr. David Otieno, who's a tattooist, DJ, bartender, to give us a piece of the alcoholic perspective.
Mimi naitwa David Otieno, hapa mtaani wasu niita Nights. 37 years old. Hapa ndo mpiga grind hapa mtaa. Hapa ni umoja. Hapa ndo mpiga hustle yangu.
Alcohol plays a large role in criminal activities and violence. Excessive drinking has the ability to lower inhibitions, impair a person's judgment, and increase the risk of aggressive behaviors. Because of this, alcohol-related violence and crime rates are on the rise throughout the country.
I was well off to say so, until tu hii pombe tu ilinimesa. Pia mimi nikaingilia life ya clubbing, nikatoka job, nikaanza ku DJ, kudu as in life yangu tu ilinipeleka kwa baesa. The case is like this. Unajua youth hawana job, ni hustle yao kidogo kidogo. No. Yo hustle kidogo anataka kuonekana kwa baesa, pia yana perform. No. Anataka kukula raha, starehe, call it. Na anado. Itam need kudu vitu, ana need kudu ndio baadaye kule starehe na mabesti zake. No. Na with that crime, makarao wanatushika daily, wanauase daily, au wenyewe wanaingia kwa mamboka zingine zenye hazifai, mob justice na nini, hizo zina go down huko. A couple of years back nilikuwa na best yangu, alikuwa well guy, alikuwa na job fiti nini, akaingia hii life ya starehe. Unaona, kaingia hii life anataka kushine, job yake mgei hiyo do venye inafaa. Akaanza tu na hizi stories za petty thieves. Unaona, anaiba hapa na pale kitu kidogo, ndio weekend sile tumetulia, amedunga, anashainisha kwa club, anarusha. Unaona, such stuff. Boy wangu ali lose job, juu saa life yake ili take over na baesa, anataka kushinda kwa bar. Aka lose job kidogo, aka lose familia yake. Hao hizi lipa rent, hizi do nini, kidogo kwa hapa kwa streets ana grind, anataka kuanza stories za mangeta. Alipigwa tu mob, hata si mbali hapa tu, akijaribu ku break into kwa nyumba ya mtu, akapigwa mob justice hapo na hapo kazeni.
Despite all this, he still finds it difficult to call it quits. He lives on a daily routine commonly known as lock to the alcoholic world, a procedure of drinking the day after consumption to get your system activated. Activation from the previous effects. This becomes a cycle that goes on and on.
Misizi kosa kuconsume. Baba mta shake.
Uncontrolled shaking of the hands or other parts of the body is common among those suffering from an alcohol addiction. Most of the time, an individual with a drinking problem who shakes is exhibiting signs of alcohol withdrawal.
Mtiti. Mi nita shake as in I cannot function. Mi lazima nikate maji. Nikiamka yo lazima niende nitoe lock. Ndio nisikie hata mwili ni kama imerejuvenate kwanza. Ndio niweze kupiga hustle yangu, grind yangu. Mi am an artist, siwezi enda kuchora na mkono yangu ina shake.
Last December, a number of youths succumbed to illicit drinks in Mutindwa area, Umoja. Not even confirmed reports by the Ministry of Health and government agencies, such as the National Authority for Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, that illicit brewers have been turning to lethal embalming fluid used in mortuaries, have cut the rate of abuse.
That was fake liquor. Hizo ni zile fake liquor, zile zinafanywa backroom kutengeneza tu pombe hapo nyuma ya keja hapo, alafu na unauzia watu, you bottle it. Hiyo ilikuwa fake, ilikuwa tu fake. Na we lost a lot of young people hiyo December. We lost a lot of young people. Naona some arrests were made, lakini sijui nisemeaje, haikuenda mahali. Unajua hizi ni cartels tu zinawakizi madeals, unaona, na they have cash to back it up, so huwezi jua hiyo story ilifika wapi ama iliendaje.
Alcohol abuse exerts a substantial socio-economic burden to individuals, communities, and the country in general. Economic costs of consuming alcohol can be categorized into the following cost components: direct, indirect, or intangible costs.
I've actually done a lot of mentorship programs to young guys who are struggling with drugs, with addictions, with alcoholism, mentoring them to the point that they can stand on their own and walk clean and pursue their careers. So that is something that I'm passionate about, because from the moment I quit, I actually committed myself to helping others out, And it was a big irony, because at school guys were like, hey, this guy, how come he's the one now preaching the gospel of soberness, that you can actually be clean and you can actually be sober. You don't have to indulge in order to have fun. And by virtue of my industry, I run a PR and communications company. We do a lot of events, launches for corporates. People don't understand how I'm in charge of this corporate event with all these freebies, but I don't even get tempted to test, I don't. Because I just said, this is a door I've shut and there's no way I'm going to go back to it. So I don't consider right now alcohol as a temptation in my life, because it just died. That urge just died. I saw what it did and the impact it had in my early stages of life. And I said, no, there's no way I'm going back that route.
Despite his alcoholic ways, David is really determined to let go.
So if right now somebody were to take you to a rehab, would you contemplate going there?
Yeah, I would. Yes, I would.
The direct costs contributed by alcohol include costs of healthcare, prevention costs, crime and law enforcement costs, cost of property damage or loss, costs of alcohol beverage, among others. On the other hand, indirect costs lead to loss of resources without any direct payment being made. These include premature mortality costs, costs of reduced or lost productivity due to absenteeism or loss of employment, and the associated crime costs like time loss for victims of crime. Lastly, the intangible costs are represented suffering, pain, and deterioration of the quality of life. These costs prevent individuals from achieving a progressive economic development.
For me, I got to the point right now, I can sit with people who are drinking and we are just fine, because it's not a temptation to me. I wouldn't feel that urge of let me have a taste or anything of the sort. And also not judging people who are having their nice time. So for me, I always say my quitting alcohol or any alcoholic drink, it's not even much to do with faith, but much to do with choice, Because people can argue over and over, oh, take a little wine, it will help your digestion and all that. It's only that it wasn't helping my digestion, so I'm not going that route.
Despite his alcoholic ways, David is really determined to let go of his alcoholic ways. He is willing to get himself on a rehabilitation program if offered the opportunity, for he himself does not have the financial capacity to do so.
I would. It's just being determined and making that clear path that you want to do this. For me, if I'd get a really good job, I'd leave everything behind. I'd just walk that straight path.
Any guy who has a struggle, especially with addictions, look for somebody who cares, somebody who can empathize with you, somebody whom you can walk with in that process. so that anytime you slip up, you can always go to this person and say, hey, I tripped, and he picks you up and you continue this. Because if you don't have an accountability partner in this path, it becomes very difficult. If you look at the long-term ramifications, both on your health and finances, it's not worth it. So walk away. We have seen them on the daily basis. I've seen people lose jobs. I mean, very promising talents. In the line of my work, I've remembered there's a time we were interviewing, when we were conducting interviews for new staff members, and somebody actually came to the interview drunk, and he really wanted to convince us that he can do that job. That's the tragedy you see of young people getting into it. Myself, when I got into it, I couldn't hold myself. I could get violent. I have scars to date of, getting into clubs. You get violent because of drinking. And the stories cannot end. Everyone knows some dear loved one that they have lost through an addiction, somebody who is struggling. And our cases, mine are a bit more personal because these are people I've interacted with. Others have tried to impact them, to change them, to make them change their ways, but you end up now speaking in their funerals, which is really quite unfortunate.
My name is Nick Komondi, and this is The Course.